Meenakshi, thank you so much for joining us on the Monday, 3rd October 2022 edition of the Storytelling for and by Adult series. Please introduce yourself fully. Please tell us about your work, and please tell us a story.
Good evening and good morning to everyone from different parts of the world. So I'm going to tell a story. I'm an educator, and COVID gave me the opportunity to learn how to tell story and narrate how to narrate the stories as well. I enjoy it because I know we all live stories, and the power of stories is immense. So the story that I'm going to tell today is, the title goes, Never to be Defeated. Before I start the story, I would like to just sing a few lines of a SGI song that I love so much. It's very much related to the story as well. The song is, dare to believe there's a song in your heart. Dare to believe in your dreams. Nothing will stop you from playing your part as long as you dare to believe. Dare to believe. Thank you. So the story is, taking long strides as I entered the Max Hospital Saket, the ICU ward, I slowly opened the door. I looked around in a glance, only to see Ma staring at the door. She was perhaps waiting for someone to come from home. I felt she's giving me a signal to come closer to her. I reached towards her. She looked at me and stretched out her feeble hand. I too took her hand, and we kept on staring, looking at each other as if trying to discern the subtle pain in the hearts of each other. Then, very abruptly, but slowly, she took away her hand and said, "You go." What could this mean? Why is she saying so? I was wondering. She perhaps could judge the confused feeling on my expressions on my face, and then said, "You go home. Now you go home." I took a sigh. Ma was critically ill. We all knew. But it felt today she also knows about her illness. How easily she's preparing herself to move on her next journey. Reluctantly, I turned. My feet were heavy. I was finding it difficult to move ahead. As I came and sat in the car, the various events of past memories kept on flashing my mind as if it's a movie and all the pictures one after the other. I remembered so distinctly when I first met her. She was wearing that cotton crisp sari with a blue border. a watch in one hand and the purse in the other. Her hair knee-tied. All apprehensions associated with the word mother-in-law seemed to have eased when I saw her sober, smiling face and her proper demeanor. We spent a lovely time together. I remember when she came to spend her vacations after our marriage. I was at Baroda. We used to spend so much time chit-chatting with each other. It was then she released the secretly guarded struggles that were in her heart. She was born in 1932 in a small village of northern India called Satla. Dark complexion was not considered a beauty at that point in time. And that too, when all the other siblings were fairer to her. She used to tell me that she would remember the anxiety which she could feel from her mother's face each time she looked at her with doubts of her future. But visionary as she was, she sent her daughter to the nearby city to study. Ma came to Delhi. She started her high school studies, but here too, the discrimination because of the color, she could not escape. It wounded her. But she poured all her attention in her studies and her books and qualified high school with flying colors. After that, she joined her mother, who had now moved to Modi Nagar to live with her elder brother. Modi Nagar in those days was an industrial town where people, students from nearby villages and also towns used to come to study and work in Modi Industries. It's here that Ma met a very handsome young man who had shifted from Lahore after partition. And they got married. It was a dream come true. They shifted to Delhi. The low self-esteem, which was still in Ma's heart, was transformed into confidence when Daddy encouraged her to pursue her further studies, because he firmly believed that external beauty is fleeting, whereas a person's true worth is the inner potential. Motivated by Daddy's words, she decided to prove her mettle and caliber. She started studying further. It wasn't easy for her because she was just in high school. But she completed her intermediate. She got her bachelor's degree. And by the time she completed her master's, she was a mother of 2 children. She didn't stop here too. She wanted to add on a professional qualification. So she did her bachelor's in education. And this time she topped the university and earned a gold medal. Now began her professional career. She joined as a headmistress of a very small school. Then she shifted to a reputed higher secondary school at Ludlow Castle, Delhi, and earned a lot of praise and recognition for her work. She also helped Daddy in writing books. But this lovely journey was short-lived. One fateful night, Daddy passed away because of brain hemorrhage. The ground under Ma's feet was swept away. She was shaken to the core. She had a very meager salary. Her children were unsettled, and she was living in a rented house. Resilient as she was, daring as she was, she again collected her wits and started gathering the shattered straws of her nest. She built it again. Throughout the life, Ma never asked for any monetary help from anybody. She had a very compassionate heart and would like to give. She would tell me, people are good and they always come forward to help you. She had deep gratitude towards everyone who helped her during her tough times. And then I remember, I saw the driver applied the brakes, the car stopped. It was turn for me to go back home. And as I was heading towards home, I was thinking, so many precious pearls are scattered all around us. We only need to notice them, gather them, string them together, and keep them in our memory forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautifully told.
Thank you.
Anybody, any thoughts, comments, resonations? Pratigya?
Hi, Meenakshi. Although I'm listening to the story for the second time, first time in Hindi and now in English, I think it's just as beautiful. And your love and respect for your mother-in-law, it just shows through your telling. Loved it once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Priya.
It's so nice to hear a story about a mother-in-law who is appreciated, because, you know, it's sort of a cliche that some people say the mother-in-law is overbearing and difficult. But in this case, that was not it. Meenakshi, you have a very strong communication ability.
Thank you.
Part of it is that you're doing eye contact with the camera very well. But it's more than that. It's a sense of connection that somehow you project. The eye contact helps. You know, there's that saying, the eye is the window to the soul. So that's part of it. But you also you're a communicator. You like to communicate and you're good at it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. When it comes from you, I feel good about it.
Yeah, well,
thank you. I've learned a lot from you. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, many people kind of hold back and uh, even storytellers, when they're storytelling, will kind of hold back and not fully give themselves. But you don't have that problem. Anybody else? Any thoughts? So the story was told sort of a flashback, I think, because it began with you were meeting your mother-in-law and getting ready to leave, and then you went into a memory, and then at the end, again, you were getting ready to leave and you left, right? So would you call that a flashback of some sort, or?
Yes, Eric, it was a flashback actually when I was preparing this story. I was not preparing it from my point of view. So it was a suggestion given to me, and I think it was Pratigya who gave me this. Yeah, right. You gave me this suggestion that, write it from your point of view. So that perhaps encouraged me. And I kept on thinking, how do I begin it? And this particular incident actually happened because when I went to see her in the hospital, after some time looking at me, she did say in Hindi, "Tum ghar jao." So that time I did not understand what does it mean, but when gradually it seeped into me, I was thinking about her, I knew she's preparing herself to move on. So yeah, that's my interpretation though.
But that prompted you, at least in the story, to review her life.
Yes.
They say when we think we may be near the end of our lives, our life passes in front of our eyes. And that's sort of what happened in this story, except that her life passed in front of your eyes, not in front of her eyes.
She shared a lot with me, so that's why.
Okay, thank you very much.